We're being joined now by criminal defense attorneys Brian and Luke Shealey. Guys, thank you so much for your time. They're usually with us for Murdaugh After Hours, and they will be later tonight. More on that in a moment. But let's talk about what happened today. We'll begin with the jury trip to Moselle. Brian, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's real fascinating. You never know what is in the mindset of a jury. And apparently today, even though it was a very protected environment, there was some reporting that the jurors asked to stop at the kennel exit across the road in the wood line there. There's really no explanation for why they did that. The only thing that I can think of is that I would be very interested in having a line of sight. So if any jurors are trying to contemplate the credibility of an assassin or someone there that was lying in wait for Alex Murdaugh to leave, or maybe Maggie to put the dogs in the kennel, they would be interested in knowing what can you see from across the street. So I found that to be very interesting today.
And your take, Luke?
Yeah, that same point is the only thing you can really draw from it. So that because it was a defense motion, if they're thinking about that while they're out there, that's a win for the defense. Now, of course, they might be assessing whether it's even realistic for someone to be lying in wait out there and quickly rule that out, but you want them thinking, so they're clearly thinking.
Prosecution hammering home today to jurors to use common sense when it comes to this case. The prosecution basically saying, look, the only logical conclusion here is that based on the time frame, based on the dog kennel video, based on all the evidence that we know, Alex Murdaugh committed these murders. Do you think he did a good job in hammering his point home to the jury today, Brian?
I do. I mean, there's so much evidence to cover, and by saying use your common sense, you're really empowering the jury to look past the defense experts, to look past, what's the shiny object over there, the defense may be trying to distract from the prosecution's case. And, Creighton did a good job of basically saying, listen, he had the means, he had the motive, and the mechanisms, meaning the family weapons, and that kind of alliteration really tied in their theory of it was a pressure situation and it was mounting in a moment where he did an unforgivable thing. So, yeah, I think he did a really good job with that.
And he's also telling the jury, Luke, that Alex Murdaugh is a self-described liar. He lied and lied and lied and lied. And he says, why believe him now when he says he didn't commit these crimes?
That's true. I mean, that's the main point throughout this case. That's probably mostly why we heard of the financial crime, so we can show how he's a liar. And I can be critical of Waters for the length of time he took. It was quite a long closing today. You might lose some jurors, but probably one of the strongest points he did was feature in the videos that kind of really unique kind of way he has of rocking that has been kind of coming across as like true heartfelt emotion at some points, but Creighton Waters is showing you that's his tell when he's lying. And so I thought he did a good job of highlighting that, showing that he's rocking when confronted with evidence in his car interviews, his sled interviews, to say, look, if he's up here rocking and seeming emotional, he's just actually lying to your jury.
We'll talk in more detail at 9 o'clock tonight on After Hours, but quickly, what do you guys expect with the defense closing arguments tomorrow? A couple hours at least.
Couple hours. If I were Jim Griffin, I wouldn't go longer than 2. I would try to snap into it with a lot of energy, a lot of passion, and refute the state's case.
All right. Again, Luke, Brian, Shealey, guys, thank you so very much. They will be joining us again coming up for our Murdaugh After Hours special. It will air live on our social media platforms beginning at 9 o'clock tonight. You can watch on our YouTube page on WLTX Plus, or as always, on our website. That's WLTX.com.